I've told him he's not giving me enough. He's told me, okay, I can give you more.
Yeah.
As long as we're The reason why I've never really outed him is because I don't want to take 2 steps back. I kind of want to move forward from this shit.
Back on what?
Like this co-parenting. Like he's whack as
him giving money to you. Does she know this?
I've never told a soul. Nobody knows about this. But
the breakup of Rashida and Kirk Frost's relationship is one of the most painful and intensely personal events in Atlanta's hectic high-drama world of love and hip-hop. The couple, whose bond had been tested countless times before, were on the edge of an emotional breakdown when Jasmine Washington, a woman from Kirk's past, dropped a bombshell that would change their lives for years to come. Despite the accusations, public scandals, and Kirk's past transgressions, Rashida and Kirk had to navigate the rigors of fame, family, and business together. Rashida had always tried to remain calm and supported Kirk through his mistakes, offering forgiveness where many others might have turned away. However, this time, the betrayal was more personal and profound, and it completely rocked Rashida. It all came to a head one fateful evening when Jasmine, tired of keeping things hidden, chose to come clean about the affair that had been buried in whispers and half. Reality's Rashida's heart was broken not only by the affair, but also by what transpired after Jasmine disclosed the dreadful but unambiguous truth about her marriage. After their brief affair ended, Jasmine stayed in Kirk's life for a long time and went beyond a few sporadic phone chats or check-ins. When Jasmine told him her story, Kirk proceeded to massage her, which was an act of intimacy Rashida would have never understood. Kirk had been spending time with Jasmine and going to see her frequently in ways Rashida could never have predicted. It was not just Kirk and Jasmine's physical betrayal that caused Rashida's world to fall apart. It was also Kirk's ongoing relationship with her. The massages weren't just casual. They were private moments in which Kirk held and touched Jasmine in a way that no wife could overlook in Rashida's mind. They were more than just buddies or passing acquaintances. Rather, they shared a link that appeared to transcend the boundaries of their previous affair, as they spoke with a mixture of defiance and hurt. As Rashida listened to Jasmine's words, tears began to form in her eyes as she talked about the late hours she spent with Kirk and how, even after the alleged end of the affair, he continued to contact her. Foundation of their family, and who had always trusted Kirk, felt as though everything had fallen apart. Kirk's continued pursuit of Jasmine after the affair allegedly ended contributed to the hurt. It wasn't just a fleeting moment of weakness. It was a continuous trail in which Kirk would comfort her, touch her, and engage with her in ways that were only meant for her. Rashida tried not to lose her temper, but her hands broke. Her mind was racing with questions about how Kirk could have done this to her and how he could have kept this secret, knowing how much she trusted him with her life. She trembled as she wiped away her tears and struggled to catch her breath. She had always been the strong one, the one who kept everything together. But in this moment, she was completely broken. Her husband, the man she had supported, loved, and forgiven hundreds of times, had crossed a line from which she was unable to recover. It was clear that Rashida was upset about the affair and the loss of the trust that had been the cornerstone of her marriage, because she was the one who had supported Kirk. She had always believed in their love, even when everyone else doubted it. But now she had to face the reality that Kirk had been emotionally and physically involved with another woman in a way that felt like a betrayal of everything she had believed in. She broke down because she had supported him, given up everything for their family, and now had to pick up the pieces of a broken world. It was difficult for Rashida to express how deeply hurt she was and how she could possibly understand why Kirk had continued to pursue Jasmine in spite of everything they had experienced together. The messages, the late-night visits, the continued connection, because Kirk had allowed this to happen and had continued to engage in the intimacy of. As viewers watched Rashida break down under the weight of the truth, her cries echoing through the room, another woman made her feel invisible, and all of her sacrifices and love seemed to have been in vain for the first time in years. He stood silently on the sidelines and eventually spoke up, but his words did little to console her. He attempted to defend and explain his actions, but the damage had already been done. It was obvious that Rashida had been duped, and there was no quick fix for the situation. Rashida was left to pick up the pieces of her broken heart after everything that had happened. She had to face not only the truth of Kirk's betrayal, but also the agonizing question of whether she could ever forgive him. As the episode came to an end, she felt vulnerable, bewildered, and crushed by the man she believed she could trust the most. The Rashida, there was uncertainty about the future, but one thing was for sure, nothing would ever be the same. Few events in the hectic, high-drama world of love and hip-hop Atlanta are as intensely personal and agonizing as the breakup of Rashida and Kirk Frost's relationship. The couple, whose bond had been put to the test innumerable times before, found themselves on the verge of reconciliation after Kirk's continued relationship with Jasmine caused her anguish that was too great to be resolved overnight. Of an emotional outburst when Jas, a member of Kirk's family in Washington, crossed a line that would never be healed. Viewers were aware that Rashida's journey would be a protracted and challenging one, full of questions and a hunt for answers that might not be found for years. In spite of Kirk's prior misdeeds and the Whisper's public crisis, Rashida and Kirk had managed the pressures of fame, family, and business together until the past dropped a bombshell that would permanently change their existence. Rashida had always tried to keep things together and had helped Kirk through his mistakes, offering forgiveness where many others might have refused. However, this time the betrayal was more profound and personal, and it rocked Rashida to her core. It all ended one fateful evening when Jasmine made it clear that the affair, which contained half-truths and whispers, would no longer be kept secret, but it wasn't just the affair that would break Rashida's heart. Heart was also the event that followed Jasmine's disclosure of knowledge that startled Rashida and everything she thought she knew about her marriage. The revelation was simple but devastating. More than just a woman from Kirk's past, Jasmine stayed in his life long after their brief romance ended. It went beyond a few sporadic phone calls or check-ins. Kirk had been regularly meeting Jasmine, and they spent time together in ways that, according to Jasmine, Rashida's world began to fall apart when she discovered that Kirk had continued to massage her after their affair. This was an act of intimacy that she could never have understood, and it wasn't just about Kirk and Jasmine's physical betrayal. It was also about the continued bond that Kirk had maintained with her. The massages weren't just a casual thing. They were intimate moments in which Kirk held and touched Jasmine in a way that no wife could ignore. They weren't just friends. They were more than simply passing acquaintances, and in Rashida's opinion, their link transcended the boundaries of their previous affair. She spoke with a mixture of defiance and hurt. Jasmine didn't mince words when she described the late nights she spent with Kirk and how he kept in touch with her even after the alleged affair was over. She described how Kirk would still touch her, comfort her, and engage with her in ways that were personal to them. Kirk would come over to her house merely to have fun and escape his complicated life with Rashida, she even claimed.